time to get to work. All right, well for now, let's go ahead and try to pop the hatch. Man, I'm sure you guys haven't seen this interior in a long time. So what I'm gonna have to do is work on the trunk setup first, remove everything from there, because all the wires are ran from these panels all the way across down through here, and then they go out over there. Sticking my whole body through the cage. Let's see if you guys can see from here. Oh. Oh. Dude, don't you hate that about 350Z trunks? They don't pop open all the way the first time. All right, let's see if this worked. I stuffed a rag underneath it to kind of push it up while I pull the latch. And it worked. Man, air suspension is gone. It's already sold. I ordered my new suspension already. You guys will see once it comes in. The suspension is going to take about 5 to 6 weeks because it's specifically built to my spec. So I'm not going to say what suspension I got. A lot of you guys on Instagram know what kind of suspension I got because I put up like a poll like to vote. The only reason why I didn't really want to get rid of my air suspension is because I wanted to keep my trunk setup in here. I designed this whole thing on Snapchat with my finger drawing while I was in the restroom. I'll put a photo of what it looked like. You guys have seen it before. I posted on Instagram before as well. So, but yeah, this is what it looked like. And then it turned into this once we did it. So this is all wood laid out. It's got some foam padding inside that we put for some cushion. And then it's all wrapped in Alcantara suede. All the lines I bent myself. Of course, all of this was by myself. I've never seen a tank mounted to the top like this, how I have it either. I had to do a little bit of trimming right here on the sides in order to make all of this fit. So I'm not selling my trunk setup. I do not want to sell it because I know I'm gonna regret it if I do, even though I'm not gonna be running this. But I'm selling the compressors and the tank and the whole air suspension, the management, everything. But I'm not gonna sell like what I built here, like the plywood. My sub, I'm keeping my sub here. I forget how to drain all the air out of everything because it's kind of sketchy. I'm gonna start with the tank first and let all the air leak out of it. I think when you loosen this bolt up, it releases the grip from the hard line. So once I get this one off, I should be able to get off the whole hard line. All right, so that's off, so I should just be able to pop this off here. Jesus. Yeah, usually these ends crack really easy because they get really brittle. It's pretty solid though. See this one? Nope. It's solid. It's pretty good. Guess those hard lines are still good after being on here for 4 years. I didn't expect to be selling my air suspension. I was just gonna run it, but then I started thinking like, if I'm gonna be making 1400 horsepower out of this car, and if I'm gonna be going fast, I do wanna take it to some half-mile events. And if I'm gonna be hitting like, you know, 180, 200 miles an hour, which is my goal, I don't want any little thing to happen. Like I've never had issues with my bags and they've been solid the past 4 years, never had one problem at all, but it's just like having that peace of mind knowing that I have a coilover with a spring while going fast, than knowing I have a bag on a shock that could blow, you know? So it's kind of just like having that at the back of my mind, like what if a bag blows while I'm going really, really fast? Gotta be prepared for that kind of stuff, so that's why I'm getting rid of it, which kind of sucks because I love my air suspension and it was so much fun having it. But then again, I never really used it anymore. I would only air up because since I run such a big tire in the back, which these are gonna be gone, I'm gonna put welds on again, the welds I had on again with a bigger tire. And since I run a big tire in the front too, I don't really need to air up that much anymore going into driveways or other little things like that because it's just naturally lifted from having big tires. And I can't even air out anymore because my tires are too fast. So in order to get a whole piece of plywood in here to fit, you have to cut it into 2 pieces. So there's another piece right here. And that piece is its own separate piece. We cut it back there. So it's kind of nice because you can never see that it was split because the tank is right there. And then in order to get that piece over there in here, we had to cut the sides right here into separate pieces, which are right over here. So you can see this goes to one side and that goes to the other. And it fits so nice and snug in here. This one right here was the main line that connected underneath to the trunk setup on one side from one of the lines that went downwards, and then it connects to this piece, and then this line goes into the management, and then that's what gives all of these other lines that go to the suspension air. Here's a little module that connects to the bottom of the trunk setup with all the LED lights underneath the sub. I think we have one of the wires, these wires tapped into this light. So you guys can see the LED lights that are in there. So there's a separate piece of wood that's cut underneath this one. It kind of just goes around like this. And then we glued the LED lights on the piece of wood from underneath on the edge right here. And then we ran the wire from there down to here. And then it connects to that Bluetooth back there that I showed you guys in the trunk. And then whenever I would pop the hatch, these lights would turn on with the light from the trunk. So it looked really nice because the light would just shoot out. And I could change the colors with the app that I had, but I mostly just kept it blue. But yeah, and then here's my sub setup. The box is a lot smaller than I wanted it to be. I cut it and then it turned out to be a little bit smaller. It's a low shallow mount sub, so it's fine, but I did want it to be a little bit deeper. That way I can get a little bit more bass out of it. I believe that's how it works at least. But it still sounds really good. It's a 10-inch sub. A little dusty. It's been sitting in there for a while. Oh, well, that's how you get that off. So this tank is being held up by these really thick zip ties. That's my secret on how to mount this tank right here. Underneath the plastic, I'll show you guys, I cut through the plastic so it comes out and then goes back in the plastic and it wraps around this thing. So that's how the tank is being held up. And then it also has some screws right there, 2 right there, and then 2 right there, but that's only being screwed into, I believe, this plastic piece here, which did not hold up. It was falling, so that's why I had to use the zip ties here, which worked really well. This thing is so sturdy on there. All right, well, round 2. I'm gonna go ahead and just push the Z outside right here, put it right here. That way I can take off this seat. I've already started taking off this belt that was right here, the OEM belt that I don't need, and it was just right here in the way, rubbing up against the cage, and just looks cleaner without it. So in order to get this off too, I have to get this plastic piece off, and I can't take this plastic piece off unless I take the cage off. So I gotta take the seat out, take the other seat out there. I need more room. I can't take it out in here. I tried taking the seat out. There's no room in here, so I gotta push the Z out, work on it out there. All right, that was a mission to push out, and the reason why is because look at this. This thing is literally tucking right now because I lost a little bit of PSI inside the bag. So it was rubbing the whole time while trying to push it out, so it's super hard, especially this side right here. This side is tucking so much more, and this side rubbed a little bit more. So this is the side that was keeping it from moving the whole time. It's so nice seeing this thing outside the garage. Hopefully my neighbors don't mind. It's only poking like a little bit more than halfway, but it's not taking up a lot of room out here. Man, seeing this thing in the light again is so nice. Perfect. All right, so the wires that go to the management right here are ran through there, and then through the back of that plastic piece right over here. And then it goes through this whole plastic piece, and that's one whole piece. So I gotta take the cage out in order to prop that piece out so I can get the wires out of there because they're zip tied in there. So I tried pulling it. I pulled them as much as I could, but now they're just like stuck inside there, and it's just been a pain. So I'm just gonna stop struggling and just unbolt the cage. I was trying to dodge it, but I don't think I'm gonna be able to. Both seats are out. I can access all the wires now, have a lot more room. I guess it's just one bolt holding the cage from right here, and it's the bolt that goes to the seat and to the cage. Just gotta get those 2 Allen keys off, and that's pretty much it. I thought it was gonna be a lot harder, but pretty easy so far. Just gotta take this one off. This thing's beefy, look at this. Big ass washer. Make sure you don't fly out your car. So right here, you pretty much just prop this piece off. All right, once you take that bolt off, this just comes out. Probably just gonna cut the seatbelt right here, honestly. So it's just not dangling here. Look at this. So I unbolted it, but you see how it's being held on right here? In order to get the cage off, I gotta be able to push this part up a little bit so that way it detaches from right here. In order to do that, I have to unbolt the cage from back there, but in order to do that, I gotta be able to stick my hand through the wheel well inside there to take the bolt out, the nut from the bottom that's being held on through in here. All right, as you guys can see, it's already dark. Hasn't been too long, it just gets dark early, but I unbolted the cage from in here, from in there. I can show you guys where the two bolts are underneath. They're right in there, just two bolts. I just kind of pulled the cage forward a little bit, and then it gave me some room to pull this plastic piece out, and I was able to go inside and snip the zip ties. Look at all of this stuff that was inside my trunk. Alright guys, just wanted to let you guys know that this is the third day and I'm gonna go ahead and finish everything today, so let's go ahead and jack this thing up. But first, let's check out that fitment. Alright, let's go ahead and finish this thing up, start jacking it up, put it on 4 jack stands, take all the wheels off, and let's get to work. Should be pretty easy today. This one just goes into atmosphere, and whenever you air out, all the air comes out of this one. That's what makes the psh sound when you air out. And I had this one just like right in there. Some people put it in the cabin, but me, I wanted to put it going to the outside so it's not loud in the cabin, and then also when you air out so everybody can hear it. Everyone does that. That has air suspension, okay? Leave us alone. We like to show off when we first get in. Make sure everybody hears us airing out. They're all cut all of them. Just a little tear in all of them there, so they're all leaking now. All right, so doing suspension is actually really easy. It's just these 3 nuts here, one big nut here for the front, and then that's pretty much it. Gotta go underneath. I put a bunch of these like little brackets all along underneath the car, so it holds the air lines all the way underneath each one of them. And then the rear, bolt there, bolt right there, and then the bucket has a bolt underneath it right there. Gotta take this off right here, and that's pretty much it. Everything's super easy and simple. It's just a couple nuts that you gotta take off. I think suspension was one of the first mods I learned how to do on a car, and that was on my G35 with my friend. Remember, before you take the top bolt off, you want to do these bolts at the bottom first, because these are a lot harder to get off than the top ones, so you need this thing to be nice and sturdy while you're trying to get this one off. So start from the bottom and work your way up. Now I think I do have to drop the control arm though, in order to get this strut out, now that I just remembered. Would have been nice if I didn't have to, but I am gonna have to drop this. All right, we're all done. Got the front bag off. Well, all the bags off. It was a lot easier to take off the control arm from here. I was trying to take this bolt off. I don't know why. Gosh. All right, so now I have my airlines attached all the way across. Dude, my knees and my back are killing me. It would just be a lot nicer if I had more room than this to work with, because then I'm just like stuck in one little spot and getting up. Whew. Grateful to have at least a garage where I can work in. It's like a whole auto shop in here. The apartment complex. See what it looks like from the outside. This is what people see when they walk by. Jesus. So funny. Everything is off here. So yeah, it's just gonna sit on jack stands probably for the next, I wanna say 5 weeks because they take about 5 to 7 weeks for the coilovers to be made. 4 years that I ran this setup, never had any issues with my airlift setup. There are a lot of people that will say like, oh, air suspension rides like shit, this and that. Most people that say that, they've never been on air suspension before. And the people that have been on it, they just don't know what to set their PSI at. So if you have too much PSI in each bag, then your car's gonna ride really bouncy. Because I know that because when I air up to clear a speed bump or go up a driveway or something like that, it's super bouncy. And a lot of people don't know how to set their PSI. You just have to set the coilover to the perfect height. So when you fill the bag up with air, you have the perfect amount of PSI at your ride height. Because if you have the coilover way too low and then you have so much air in the bag, then your car's gonna be really bouncy and it's not gonna ride good. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Now we just wait on the new suspension to come in. For the meantime, it's gonna sit on jack stands and the motor's at the machine shop right now. So it's getting all the machine work. They gotta send the head out to another shop to get poured and polished. And once they get it back, they can finish the head. So they're actually gonna build the head for me at the machine shop. And then the block, the bottom end, is gonna be built at the shop that I'm taking my car to, where everything's gonna be done at, pretty much everything. It's gonna be a whole new car, new transmission, new motor, new suspension. Man, everything on this car is changing. When I drive it, it's gonna feel completely different. But I'm sure I'm gonna love it a lot, so I can't wait. Appreciate you guys for watching. If you guys have any questions, leave a comment down below. If you guys aren't subscribed, subscribe down below as well. Give this video a thumbs up if you guys enjoyed it. I know it wasn't anything crazy. It was just taking off my air suspension and all that stuff, but I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I will see you guys in the next one.